All right, so we got some casual geographic today. How crows gave Earth's biggest city the middle finger. I feel like they giving everybody the middle finger if you mess with them. You feel me? Because they are very smart.
And they gonna remember you too. They got great memory apparently, and they gonna get their gang to jump you. I'm just saying though.
Yo, Lunar, what you doing there, bro? Pull up on you like this.
I'm gonna have to pull up with the fa. I ain't fighting that dude. What?
Yo. Anyways, man, shout out Casual. There'll be a link to the original video down below. Yo. You not passing this.
I love you. I love you.
Do you have any idea how stressful a street war with birds would be? No, you don't. Because you don't live in Tokyo. Tokyo has a gang problem. The problem is the members aren't human and can fly.
He did something to him, so he remembered him on his way home on his way to work. This crow knows his entire route, bro. He been waiting on it. Facts.
Oh, God.
At one point, there were more than 36,000 crows crowding the eastern capital, thanks to the massive amounts of trash produced by the city each year. Crows are basically monkeys minus thumbs, but with unlimited airtime, and as corvids, along with others like ravens, jackdaws, and magpies, make up the smartest group of things with wings on the planet. Smart enough to use cars as nutcrackers, only to collect when the walk sign's on, and smart enough to memorize garbage routes for different parts of the city, just to snatch trash before the workers do. But a habitual feather menace won't just wait for you to trash it, as Tokyo crows have robbed people to steal their loot. The bird called Garasu has bloodied the faces of school children while trying to make off with candy, and have even broken into classrooms to raid lunchboxes.
No way!
They'll also storm zoos for a living lunch, often in the form of kidnapping baby prairie dogs and ducklings. Not to mention they'll attack livestock, pecking at the udders and causing cuts that can lead to infection. That is if they don't just bleed out. In 2017, Tokyo's government received over 600 complaints of civilians thrashed by the aerial urbanite, with most coming in the spring, their nesting season. Which brings another problem. Crows nesting in utility poles have caused blackouts, and using fiber optic cables as material has brought down entire broadband networks. One time even shutting down high-speed bullet train service in Akita. Hundreds of million in yen are spent each year removing nests.
Kill them niggas.
Analogical electric company stripping 15,880 in 2018. Yet somehow the crows seem to shake it off.
Yo, son, whole time I'm thinking like, it's if you mess with them, right? But no,
they just exist.
Yeah, this is their behavior, bro. Nah, see the crows on my list, bro. Y'all going down, bro. Y'all going down on my list. I really thought y'all was cool because I like Itachi on some shit. But after this, bro, I don't know. Like you guys seem like y'all just doing this for the love of the game. I don't like that, bro.
Sickheads.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Well, because the crows started making decoy dummy nests to lead them away from the real ones.
What?
Wait, how did it? Yo, bro.
Oh, nah, these niggas smart.
Yo, they mad smart.
Yo, what?
Yo, I thought they were smart based on based on pattern recognition or something. What? I don't know, but
yes.
like they see something and then like they get used to it. Again, like let's say you bother them. Okay, bet. I see that he constantly comes here. Boom. Now I know I can attack him at this time. But it seems like they just know stuff, bro. They know when kids are coming out of school to take their candy. That's crazy. That's bullying right there, bro.
That's a bully right there.
What else? They break it into classrooms. Like, how do they know that, bro? To get the lunch from the classrooms or like...
They watch. They're like the observers, bro. They understand through us, basically.
Yeah. True.
1,880 in 2018.
Wait, what about the nest? I know they be nesting up here and then what?
High-speed bullet train service in Akita. Hundreds of million in yen are spent each year removing nests, with the Hokuriku Electric Company stripping 15,880 in 2018.
Oof.
Yet somehow the crows seem to shake it off. How? Well, because the crows started making decoy dummy nests to lead them away from the real ones. Crows and Tokyoids have been beefing for years, but it didn't escalate until a certain event in 2001, when one crow decided to dive bomb a man while he was playing golf. That man was Governor Shintaro Ishara, and he swiftly declared conflict on the corvids, with promises of changing Japan's national dish to crow pie.
Oh my God.
Nah, he said, bad. Y'all want to mess with me? I'm about to turn y'all to food.
Yo, he turned them into a delicacy, bro.
Oh, God.
I intend to make crow meat pies, Tokyo special dish. Made y'all an international goddamn delicacy, boy. That's tough.
Since then, it's been on site and flight, with the government trying everything to combat a vindictive air terrorist, employing hawk mercenaries to try to fight fire with feathers, and even installing beehives in the heart of Ginza, so the Gimbachi can give the crows a taste of arguably even more of a flying crash out. But one thing about Japan, you don't with the Yakuza, and these air gangsters have been testing people in ways arguably no other city animal ever has. And for all humanity's hubris, this might be the one time we have to eat crow. And not in the way that Chiji.
You don't know what to do with that.
So how did a bird manage to humble a nation the most since the Emu War of 32? Because at least emus are damn near dinosaur size. Well, like almost everything.
Who is she? She said, "Oh, watch out."
Stiff arm is
War of 32. Because at least emus are damn near dinosaur
watch
size.
out.
Well, like almost everything else, it started with our garbage. Tokyo produced 3.52 million metric tons of trash in 2001, and in 1994, the government switched from black plastic bags for curbside pickup to semi-see-through calcium carbonate options. The intent was to reduce environmental impact, but a consequence was the scavenge happy could now see what was in the bags and had a much easier time finding takeout. In recent years, Tokyo has seen a rise in bears and boars commuting into the city for trash. And wild macaques have continued to be a problem. But according to a wildlife management study, out of the 10 major invasive species, it was crows that caused the highest percentage of harm. And it was also crows that people were most in favor for lethal measures against. The gag is, crows in Tokyo aren't invasive. People just hate them off principle. But if just liking trash was the only barrier of entry, Japan would have more problems than a flying black air force. The problem is, crows had a counter for almost everything thrown at them. First is that crows have great memories and hold grudges. In 2006, remember that year, the University of Washington conducted an experiment where 7 crows were trapped and eventually released by people wearing scary masks. Not too long after, study leader Professor John Marsloff was strolling the campus with a mask when 47 out of the 53 crows he encountered violently rejected to his presence. Each following year, the number of vindictive on-site campus crows grew and peaked in 2013. Even though at this point, they'd only see the mask twice a year for a few hours, and especially even though most of the crows on the offensive weren't even alive at the start of the study. It wasn't until September 2023
Wait, how does that work? How did these new crows know to have beef with him?
They told them. They said, "You see that ugly ass nigga right there? Get him!"
It's like, anytime I see him, we gotta jump him. Oh my God.
Those on the offensive weren't even alive at the start of the study. It wasn't until September 2023 that the harassment eventually stopped, and it probably wasn't even that they forgot, just that it took 17 years for them to drop the vendetta. There's also the implication that crows can communicate so well that even those born after the study can instantly tell which mask meant bad. That memory is good for more than just garbage routes. You do wrong by a crow, you're screwed for a very long time, which Tokyoites have learned the stressful way. One man, Hiroshi Takaku, saw a couple of his colleagues being attacked by a few crows and fended them off by swinging his belt.
And now you're done.
Off, but the next day, they returned to work to find hundreds of crows posted up on their building of business waiting for them. So safe to say,
we finna jump this nigga.
So how that deep though? He got the whole army.
Oh God. Hey, yo, where did my mother?
I'm not gonna lie, but I'm telling the boss that I need an inflatable mattress. I'm sleeping here, bro. This is my home now. I'm not leaving my job, bro. Oh my goodness.
Conventional extermination doesn't really work on an animal that can learn the look of the workers doing it and will mob them on sight. They also tried traps where they bait the crows with food like lard and then gas the captured crows with carbon monoxide. Not only was that method way more costly than it was worth, they didn't expect a group of goth tweeties named Murder to turn death into a life lesson. Crows have funerals, but not the kind that you think where they mourn the dead. In fact, they're more likely to anyway. When a crow sees another dead crow, it'll often call out to the surrounding birds and they'll all gather around the fallen member to investigate the cause of death. A study even found
you're lying. What do you mean investigate?
Son, they basketball boy. They doctors now too, I guess. So let's see what the cause of death was. It by a human or was it natural?
Bro. See, it's like we think we know something, but we don't know anything. Every time we watch a casual video, it's like, oh yeah, we seen this animal. Psych, it's some new stuff. Like, bro,
we seen it in Naruto.
Bro, what DLC is this, bro? What update is this?
cease triggers activation in the part of the brain associated with higher order decision making. Because crows understand cause and effect enough to realize that a threat to one is a threat to all, so they'll recruit others to investigate the cause of death. It's why crows will sometimes avoid a field for years if they see a past tense crow there once. The same study also found that crows will harass any human seen near the corpse, likely pinning the death on them. They will also do the same if they see a human with a hawk, probably realizing that a hawk and a human can equal a bad time. So mass crow killings barely put a dent in the population. And speaking of hawks, they weren't as effective as the government hoped, as although big enough hawks will murk crows will use their numbers to effectively mob birds of prey and chase them off. See where I'm going with this, right? Obvious. These Flyinsteins had a counter for everything. The Tokyo terrors would avoid areas with traps, and any crow deaths were likely reported on and adjusted for by the greater crow community. And let me just remind you that crows were out here making decoy nests to slow their human ops down. Even with the crow cavalry falling from its near 40,000 population peak, in 2010, there were still an estimated 20,000 running the naked city.
That's a lot.
Causing the government to get even more creative. This is how bad it got. Tokyo had researchers studying more than 10,000 different crow sounds and isolating the specific sound they make in response to a predator, and playing those calls on loudspeakers near trash sites. Basically what pilot whales do to orcas.
Holy shit, that's 10 billion. 10 billion IQ. Yo,
oh god.
Yo, bro, they played the sound that they make when there's a prey around.
Yes.
So they reverse engineered. Okay, you a bird? I watch this. We're gonna make bird sounds too.
Yeah. Lord,
W Japan.
And
bro.
playing those calls on loudspeakers near trash sites. Basically what pilot whales do to orcas, Japan had to resort to with a bird. But really, the only thing that made a difference was regulating the very problem that caused it. People started covering their trash with blue protective tarps, and Utsunomiya University professor Shuei Sugira helped develop a special yellow garbage bag that the crows couldn't see through. And it had to be a very specific yellow or else it wouldn't work. Many places like restaurants in Ginza pivoted to having their garbage collected at night, instead of the crows' prime time of late morning. But by far, the most effective measure was just making less trash in the first place. And Tokyo's 3.52 million metric tons of trash in 2001 was cut down to 2.45 million in 2024. Eventually, the crow numbers would start to chip away.
Yo, bro, what do I do here, bro?
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I'm scared to walk out there because what if I just kick one of them by accident? They all start jumping me.
Yup, you start getting flocked on, bro. Oh my god. Yo,
5 million.
I'm not going to work, bro.
Eventually, the crow numbers would start to chip away.
Like, why are y'all here chilling on my street?
The population is only 20% of its peak 2 decades ago. That was the only way a trash terrorist was going to be beat, as bird experts noted that the traps would only work on younger, dumber crows, and that the birds even figured out how to work around the protective tarps. But some experts worry that the war isn't over, that it's only a matter of time for the next wave of street-smart crow fiends to rise up again. Crows are just too smart.
After Uno reverse card game, they thought you got us? Psych, nah. Like, yo, come on, bro.
Yo, I don't know what game they playing, but they countering the counter of your counter, bro. It's not working.
Adapting. Mahoraga, fuck.
Ooh, fuck is you talking about?
Defeated by conventional methods, because crows fiends rise up again. Crows are just too smart to be defeated by conventional methods, because crows are not a conventional bird. In fact, they might have the most unconventional form of self-defense. Crows are the biggest trolls in the animal kingdom, and I don't think it's close. But what if I told you the race-based
oh, nah, the nigga dookied in his... oh, hell no. Nah.
Yo, bro.
Crows are the biggest trolls in the animal kingdom, and I don't think it's close. What if I told you the rage-bait strategic? Let me explain. Crows are omnivore opportunists, and a lot of those opportunities come from scavenging. But scavenging can put them up against much bigger, more powerful predators. So crows will often be so annoying that they force the competition to rage quit. And they'll do this by pulling feathers, and they'll do this to some of the largest birds of prey.
Why doesn't he just fly away? This big ass bird.
Just follow him. He'll just follow him. Honestly, I feel like that bird can crush that little nigga, but that's just me though.
Yeah.
By pulling feathers, and they'll do this to some of the largest birds of prey.
Can you stop?
Sea eagles are big enough to catch an AI accusation, but the crow will still tail check them. And in this video, you start to see why, with this crow pulling up on 2 turkey vultures and repeatedly baiting one of them until the vulture finally has enough and makes it the bystander's problem, allowing the crow access to the bird bath.
Are you
even more
kidding me?
example was a crow arriving at a fresh carcass and waiting for stronger vultures to tear into the hide he couldn't. And with the gift box open, the crow immediately started pulling tails and testing patience. Until eventually the culprit instigated a vulture brawl, during which he snuck in and stole him a piece.
Oh my god.
Nah, he rage baited them to fighting each other? Or am I bugging?
No, you not bugging. Yo, he initiated the...
Oh, he's an instigator.
Yes, I was about to say that. I couldn't get it out. Yeah, gold medal instigator into a rage baiter into a gaslighter, manipulator, all that.
On that.
No, this DLC never existed before, bro. It's my first time hearing about this.
You know what I'm saying? Software
Till eventually the Trollbird instigated a vulture brawl, during which he snuck in and stole him a piece. It seems the habitual line stepping is a way for the crow to
this is one crow.
But crows will use troll tendencies on anything from seagulls to eagles, from deer to dogs. Well, there's one animal that always seems to fall for the rage bait. The number of catfights provoked by crows is actually insane. I don't know what that crow said to that cat to make him crash out like that, but surely someone's mother was involved. And then they're always right there to enjoy the violent fruits of their instigation. Crows don't want peace.
Oh my God. Yo, the cat saw who's doing it, and instead of jumping the bird, it jumped the cat.
Oh God. Okay.
Yo, wait, hold on.
I don't know what that crow said to that cat to make him crash out like that, but surely
it was him.
Involved. And then they're always right there to
He's jumping like, yeah.
He's like, yeah, eating his popcorn and shit.
Yo, the violent fruits of their instigation. Crows don't want peace. They thrive off problems. Just to hover above it like a boxing promoter. Now, it's possible the crows recognize the cats as a threat, and this is a 900 IQ play to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, or 2 cats with 1 crow. It would make sense for crows to turn cats on each other, especially if they have fledglings or a nest nearby. But crows are also smart enough to just do stuff for fun, and they're smart enough to use tools to do it. So I can 100% see crows using live cats as tools for their own amusement. Especially since in a lot of these clips, crows don't look like they have anything to gain.
What the fuck?
The way it looked away too. It was that was
fun. They're smart enough to use tools to do it. So I can 100% see crows using live cats as tools for their own amusement. Especially since in a lot of these clips, the crows don't look like they have anything to gain. No food, no agenda, just free will and love of the game.
Yep.
So what do you think? Anti-predator measures, resource access strategy, or just pure trolling? And who's to say it's not all three? But whatever it is, it does unlock a new level of the crow's IQ. Theory of mind is the ability to recognize that other beings have thoughts and mental states that can be used to predict or even manipulate behavior. Here's a quick test. Let's say person A puts a sandwich in the office refrigerator, but then person B comes along and takes the sandwich out the fridge and puts it in a pencil drawer. At lunchtime, where's the first place person A would look? If you have theory of mind, you'd say the fridge because that's where A left it, and you know that they don't know that person B is a sandwich thieving waste of carbon. Now, if you're thinking, well, obviously no shit. Well, congratulations. You have the emotional bandwidth of at least a toddler. But crows have shown advanced levels of theory of mind.
Why don't they both jump the bird? See, it's like they're not thinking. Like
they're not. They're too fixated on each other because they're already beefing from afar, and the bird just antagonizing the other cat to go do something. They say, "Go do something. Go do something. Go fight jobs."
Yeah, it's the meme with Aaron talking to, was it his dad? I forgot who he was talking to, but he was on his ear. And he was like,
"Oh yeah, exactly."
Just by knowing that if they frustrate a cat long enough, the cat will eventually take it out on a fellow cat. Another example is crows will often hide food, but will also pretend to hide food if they know they're being watched, making a big show out of it and even making sounds associated with being happy, just to keep the food stuff in their beak and hide it for real later. And it's the crows that do the stealing that are most likely to perform theft insurance, meaning they can put themselves in the mind of another crow and act accordingly. Now, I don't want to act like this is a super complex thing. Like, squirrels will do the same misdirection to protect their nuts. We're just gonna ignore that they often forget where they put them for real, and that ADHD builds forests. Well, of course, this got the seagulls' attention, and with all their biblical greed, they flew over to steal again. And while the seagulls were left with the stick the crow was posturing as food, the crow was able to spin back and take the fries, their pride, and the W. Along with theory of
so he took the L on purpose to make them think that he took an L, but he didn't. And then went back to the spot and got the fries, regardless.
These niggas is, software update.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is not normal, bro.
The crow was able to spin back and take the fries, their pride, and the W. Along with theory of mind, crows were also able to pass Aesop's test. In this one, the animal would need the foresight to understand that they can reach a treat in a small tube by dropping stones to raise the water level high enough. Raccoons were able to pass the test, as were apes, although they got creative, with an orangutan spitting water into the tube to grab the prize, and a chimpanzee just peeing in it. When it was the crow's turn to step to the plate, not only did they pass, they knew enough to use solid sinking objects over those that float, and understood that using the same logic with a tube full of sand made no sense. That performance put the crow on par with a 5 to 7-year-old child, which again is pretty solid for an animal with a brain the weight of 3 nickels. Interestingly, crows did not pass the mirror test, and save for 2 European magpies, corvids in general didn't seem to recognize the bird in the mirror. But they do seem to understand the concept of reflection, with Caledonian crows able to find hidden food that was only visible by looking at a mirror from a certain angle. But forget everything I just said. Did you know crows can understand analogy? Being able to plot an analogy like bird is to air what fish is to water was believed to be a strictly human trait, but studies show that primates like chimpanzees and even monkeys like baboons can learn the concept. So how do we figure out crows can too? I'm gonna explain, but first you gotta lock in. Lock in.
I'm locked.
So this test, led by Edward Wasserman of the University of Iowa, started off pretty simple. First, they trained 2 hooded crows to match the correct card to the sample card. They'd have 3 cards and 2 cups. The card in the middle would be the sample card, and it would be something like 2 blue circles. And the 2 cards would be on top of the 2 cups, and one card might be something like 1 red and 1 blue circle, and the other one could be a square and a triangle. See, now the crow would have to understand that the correct card would be the one that also has 2 circles, and picking the right one would reveal a juicy mealworm at the bottom of the cup. The other cup contains nothing, because wrong answers deserve nothing. Another example would be if the middle card had 2 pink squares, and option 1 had a pink circle and a pink triangle, and option 2 had 2 green triangles, then the correct answer would be the one that also has all pink. The crows passed easily. But that wasn't the experiment. That was the warm-up.
Yeah,
so
because
I just described identity matching to sample, IMTS. The real test would be if they could solve relational matching to sample, or RMTS. RMTS basically means if the sample pair is AA and your options are BB and CD, then the right answer would be BB. You would pick B. If the sample was CD and your options were EF and GG, you'd pick EF. See, now that's analogical thinking, because AA and BB aren't literally the same, but they are in terms of the relationship the letters in the pair have to each other. So here, the crow would have to understand that because the sample card has 2 different samples, then the card with the reward would also have 2 different shapes. Nice.
Wow.
Alright, try it.
And it was quick too.
Easily.
Now you want to hear the kicker? They were not trained to do this. They got this on the first try. They went straight from IMTS to analogical thinking, completely on their own. We're still talking about crows here. And Wasserman said it'd be one thing if
Yo, that's mad smart, because if they did it right away, how did they know, like, oh, I'm being tested, or like you know what I'm saying? Like, how did these shapes? Like, I'm just going for this one. Like, what?
Yeah, like, how do I know this one has the treat in there too? Like, you know, like, what makes them want to do it? Like, they didn't train them how to do it at all. They just see a card, flip it, treat in there. Like, what?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know, bro. But then how does this have to do with analogy? Or did we already pass that? Because he was... Is that what he's explaining?
Maybe he's gonna get to that point. Maybe. Oh, okay. Unless we just completely lost it in the beginning.
Yeah, that means we're not locked in. He told us to lock in, bro.
On the wrong. We're still talking about crows here. And Wasserman said it. It'd be one thing if they were brute forced into learning, but the fact that they were able to reason their way into the right answer on the fly, you almost have to reevaluate how smart you think they are. And that's why you're not ready for the crow revolution. Their greatest weapon is their mind, and you can get wrecked purely off of pattern recognition. Lisa Joyce was attacked by crows during a 4th of July celebration in Vancouver. What was weird was, out of the hundreds of people outside, Lisa was the only victim. The harassment only got worse, to the point where she had to change her commute because a literal murder would be waiting for her outside on her way to work. After weeks of avian abuse, she stumbled across a local Facebook support group with women talking about their crow trauma, and other than, you know, being Tweety's target practice, Lisa noticed
that's something women would do.
In common. They all had long
a support group on Facebook.
Yo,
that sounds so like old school or something, but all right.
Target practice. Lisa noticed all the women had one thing in common. They all had long blonde hair. As for why blonde bias,
you don't like blondes.
Well, you might find your answer in Seattle. That's where science writer and fellow blonde Lynn Peoples was jogging when she took multiple bird strikes to the back of the dome. Later in her jog, she saw a man, probably having a mental episode, absolutely crashing out at the birds at the park, chasing and kicking at them. Birds that included crows. He also had a long ponytail. Guess what color it was? You can catch heat from a
blonde.
murder as a bystander, and your only options are to move, dye your hair, or I guess you could wait in the house for 17 years like a cicada. Crow hate crimes have gotten so common, someone developed an app to track crow attacks, and crow tracks quickly gained thousands of reports.
Wow.
As much as I love crows, I can understand why people are terrified of them. They're the most human bird on the planet, and that is really uncomfortable to some people.
That's facts.
Let me make it worse. Because corvids like crows, but especially ravens, have had a relationship with wolves that is eerily familiar.
Yeah, this we
see,
know.
Corvids will
they will use, they will scavenge the thing, and then the wolves will use the ravens as UAV.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Off wolves' leftovers, but often it's the flying dry snitch that leads the pack to them in the first place. In return, the wolves seem to tolerate the birds picking at the meat once the wolves have ripped it open. But it's not just a business relationship, as ravens and crows have been seen playing with wolves in Yellowstone, sometimes grabbing sticks to play tug-of-war, or sometimes even flying above the wolves to get them to jump at them. The birds seem to especially favor playing with wolf pups, and naturalists watching swear by corvids having emotional bonds with specific members of the pack.
That's fire.
Not to mention Caledonian crows, you know, the ones that pass the tube test, can not only use tools, but they'll build them, like with multiple steps.
No way.
If you give a Caledonian a box with food and a bunch of sticks, but none of the sticks are long enough to reach the prize, the crow has the presence of mind to combine multiple sticks to retrieve the treat.
Wow.
How would it do that? How would it do that though? How is it gonna combine sticks? No, there's no way.
They take the twigs and like wrap it around the sticks. You feel me? The little freaking bendy ass fucking twigs. You know what I'm saying? Like rope. I guess. I don't know.
Damn. So who's smarter, chimpanzees or crows? Because at problem solving, that is, because this is crazy.
I don't know. I mean, I would say the chimpanzees, but
yeah, because they also know like colors, shapes, sequences. I've seen them like figure out, like they'll look at a screen, right? And have to memorize like, okay, this might be exaggerated, but let's just say like 20 numbers, and then they disappear. They'll touch the number sequence as the way they saw it and like unlock the food or something. Like they tough though. They tough.
Prize. The crow has the presence of mind to combine multiple sticks to retrieve the treat. That kind of compound tool use basically puts them at primate-tier. So let's see. Use tools, hold grudges, wage straight up war, befriend wolves, understand analogies. Yeah, either they're the humans of birds or we're the crows of primates. And that's probably the biggest reason why people fear them. They're arguably the biggest threat to human hubris. If Thanos snaps us all out of existence, don't be surprised if we come back to a black Air Force in the driver's seat. And that's going to do it for this video. Drink water, hug your mother. I for one welcome our imminent avian overlords, just for anyone watching. Acknowledge your father, and I'ma see y'all
in the next one.
W. What the fuck?
Hey, that's not food.
Freaking a PlayStation cord game? What is that?
Or like a charger for a laptop or something.
Or something, bro. Nah. W video. I'm not gonna lie to you, man.
Yeah.
Now, I would say I would like to befriend the crows.
Yes.
Just so, like, I could be like Itachi, and then they all surround me on some shit. You feel me? They give me information that I need aerial wise. They're my UAV. They gonna protect me. All that. Need that.
Come on now. That's probably the best outcome. Either, you know, you're nothing to them, which is good, or actually befriend them and like you know, and use them. I guess benefit to you. But yeah, casual W video. You know what I'm saying? W DLC, W software upgrade. Facts. I ain't know that.
You know what I'm saying? Anyways, man, if I like it, fuck off. You know what I'm saying? Like the goddamn video, boy. I freaking get my crows on you. No cap.
Hit you with a matarasu or something. Put you in a genjutsu. Make a crow come out your mouth. I bet.